Unlock the shocking truth. 7 dark ways your ego sabotages quantum manifestation forever in a world where dreams are made, and wishes come true. There's a sinister truth lurking beneath the surface, a truth that could tear apart the very fabric of your reality. It's not magic or some mystical force, it's something far darker. It's your ego, working overtime to ruin everything you hold dear. What if I told you that this hidden sabotage is why you're stuck, trapped in a life you never wanted? It sounds outrageous, right? But hold on to your seats, because what comes next will shake you to your core. Imagine walking into a room where the air feels electric, pulling at your skin like unseen fingers. You glance around, and strange shadows dance around, whispering secrets you almost catch. The strange thing is, this ruin of yours, the ego, is the very thing fueling this madness. It preys on your fears, morphing into your deepest insecurities, making you doubt your worth. Suddenly, that tightness in your chest feels suffocating, like a weight you can't shake off. You hear muffled gasps from the onlookers, their faces twisted in disbelief. They can sense it too, but it gets weirder. Every step you take towards your dreams feels like wading through molasses, and when you finally break free, it's time for an inevitable crash. The glass shattering. The screams echoing. Your ego, the puppet master of chaos, delights in throwing you off course just as you begin to rise. What was once hope morphs into fear. You feel the lump in your throat rising, each beat of your heart louder than your own thoughts. You wonder, how many times will it happen before you even realize what is going on? How many doors will close before you understand the only thing in your way is you? Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. But just when you think it can't get any worse, a flicker of hope bounces in your peripheral vision. Your internal battle starts to shift, and suddenly, reality seems to tease you with glimpses of the impossible. You wonder if it's too late to turn things around, if you can rewire this uprising trauma influencing your life. Yet, there's an unsettling silence. The shadows stir, beckoning you deeper, challenging your every belief just as you prepare to grasp the truth. What will happen next? Will you stand up to your ego, or will it consume you? What's around that corner could change everything. Are you ready to face it? The moment you step further into the room, it feels like the world tilts. The shadows twist, calling out to you, wrapping around your limbs like a cold, clammy hand. You take a deep breath, your chest rising and falling heavily, and finally, something breaks within you, a wave of determination surging against the torment of your ego. But as you push through, doubt courses through your veins. That bitter voice in your head whispers, "You can't change. It's always been this way." You glance around as the whispers almost become a noise, a low hum surrounding you. You can sense the eyes of the onlookers piercing through your facade. Their expressions confused, expectant, only serve to amplify your anxiety. It's like they know the battle raging inside, they're waiting for a collapse, a failure that confirms the lies your ego has fed. But just when the weight feels insurmountable, a glimmer catches your eye. It's not just any flicker, it's a vibrant spark that seeps through the shadows. It pulses like a heartbeat, pulling at you, drawing you toward its brilliance. Your instincts scream caution, yet there's something undeniable about it. You step toward it, as if entranced. Once you approach the shimmering light, the world begins to shift. Shadows linger at the edges of your vision but become less intimidating. Suddenly, the choking tightness in your throat loosens, allowing a tired breath to escape your lips. Your heart races, matching the rhythm of the spark. What if this was a way out? Just as you grasp a tiny fragment of hope, the ground trembles beneath your feet. Those whispers explode into feral screams, your ego clawing back, desperate to reinstate its control. You don't deserve that. It bellows, each word a sharp dagger aimed to pierce through your resolve. You stagger back, the world blurring for a moment as confusion closes in once more. Through the chaos, you manage to muster your voice, a raw roar against the tempest inside. I do deserve it. It echoes across the room, cutting through the murmurs, resonating like a battle cry. The shadows lurch, some retreat as if stung. But not all give way. From the darkness, a figure emerges, silhouetted and ominous, cloaked in the very essence of your insecurities. The embodiment of your ego stands before you. Do you think you can defeat me? It sneers, its voice dripping with contempt, echoing in your mind like an unending loop. In that moment, time stands still. Every painful memory, every failure, every time you doubted yourself floods back. You're frozen in a spiraling torrent of past mistakes, teetering on the edge of despair, but as you stand suspended, one thought breaks through the wave: you've felt this before, this crushing defeat. Still, here you are, standing and challenging, pushing forward. A fight stirs anew within your chest. Why should this moment be different? What if this was the breaking point? With adrenaline pulsing, you take a step closer to the figure, heart hammering, fists clenched. I refuse to let you define me. As your words strike like lightning, the figure flickers, its form distorting. The shadows respond, swirling chaotically. You catch a hint of fear in its eyes, a flicker of realization that you might actually have the strength to break through, but just then, before you can fully process the confrontation, you hear a loud crack. The walls begin to shake, and an unseen force drags you back toward the shadows, threatening to engulf you in darkness. Will you stand your ground, or will the chaos consume you whole? The choice burns heavy in the air. What awaits you on the other side of this decision could redefine everything. Are you ready to make the leap? Just as the shadows stretch towards you, a surge of raw power crackles in the air. Your heart pounds in your chest like a war drum, beckoning for a fight, a reckoning. You refuse to be swallowed whole. This was your moment, and you had never felt more alive. Fight back. A voice inside urges. You clench your fists tighter, feeling the weight of determination pushing against the descent into darkness. The echoes of those who thought you would not rise fill the room, their opinions morphing into an invisible barrier between you and the figure that stood before you. Your courage is pathetic. It snarls, the shadows around it quaking with malice. You think you're ready for this? You're no match for what lurks within you. You're wrong. You shout back, each word igniting a flicker of defiance. The shadows shrink back, filled with uncertainty. You are the darkness I am done being afraid of. As if responding to your resolve, the shimmering light beside you bursts forth, swirling around your body. The sensation is electric, infusing you with strength, like sunlight breaking through a storm. You reach for it, feeling its warmth seep into your very soul, brightening the corners where doubt had once thrived. The figure trembles, the sneer falling from its face, replaced by something unrecognizable: fear, perhaps. You found a manipulative chink in its armor, and the flickering prospect of victory shimmers closer. Yet, as the light deepens its hold, the shadows retaliate, surging forward like a tidal wave intent on overwhelming you. Stop! You cry, your voice carrying a fierce desperation. You don't have to control me. In that moment, instinct kicks in. You take a step forward, reaching out toward the darkness, not to flee but to confront it. I choose to face you. You declare, voice ringing strong. More shadows rip away with an audible hiss, and that urge to recoil, to turn back, sparks into something transformative, but as you push deeper, an oppressive force lashes at you, tendrils reaching for your throat, squeezing with dread. Memories tug and pull, every embarrassing slip, every rejection whispering, pulling, begging for your defeat. The weight feels insurmountable again, thrusting you back into despair. Remember what you've lost. Your ego shrieks. You're not enough. With every ounce of strength you can muster, you counter, I am enough. The tears come unbidden, streaming down your cheeks, recognition pours forth as you finally understand these memories, though painful, are part of your journey, not your identity. One by one, you confront the images, the rejections, the failures, the shadows that have dictated your worth. With every breath, you reinterpret them, reclaiming your power, unraveling the grip that has suffocated you for far too long. You don't control me. You roar, each syllable a blow against the figure. You feel the ground tremble beneath you again, but this time, it thrills you. The very foundation of this haunting space shifts, like a reality bending to your will. The figure lunges forward, furious, but the shadows buckle back, recoiling in retreat. I am stronger than my past. You shout, your voice piercing through the chaos. With that declaration, the resonating light grows brighter, casting away the darkness with a pulsating energy that feels powerful enough to split the room in two. The air hums with a vibrancy you've never known as the figure blinks, uncertainty etched across its face, but just as triumph seems within reach, another crack rumbles, deeper this time, and the fabric of the room begins to warp around you. You stand on the precipice between triumph and despair, but before you can take another step, an echoing voice booms, "This isn't the end." You freeze, heart racing. What does that mean? What lies hidden beyond this confrontation? The shadows begin to swirl slowly around you once again, weaving a path deeper into the unknown. One last decision hovers, dangling like a thread about to snap. Will you take the next leap into the unknown, or will the uncertainty drag you back into the abyss? What comes next is something you can't yet fathom, but you feel it, a pulse of energy beckoning you forward. Are you really ready for the truth that lies hidden ahead? As the shadows twirled around you, a biting chill clawed at your skin. Each pulse of your heart echoed against the cavernous void, amplifying the chaos. Your breath quickened, urgency electrifying the air. You felt tethered to an invisible string, suspended between illumination and despair. What's beyond the darkness? You wondered, the question burning bright in your mind. Instinctively, you took a step forward, feeling the weight of uncertainty shift beneath your feet. The shadows seemed to whisper you closer, their voices a chorus of temptation and terror. They promised solace in surrender but offered only the familiar grip of fear. "Don't listen!" shouted the flickering light, its glow sputtering defiantly against the encroaching shadows. You reached out to it, physically and emotionally, focusing on its warmth, its unwavering presence. Don't let them pull you back. The light spun around you, reinforcing your resolve like armor against the onslaught, but just as you gathered your strength, the shadows lunged, elongating into jagged, claw-like forms. They were no longer distant specters, they were personal, tangling with your every exposed fear. "You'll never escape," they hissed, voices dripping with a toxic mix of doubt and disdain. With each word, you felt the tendrils slithering, penetrating deeper into your psyche. "Stop!" you cried out, anger igniting a fire inside you. "I am not what you say. I control my destiny." With renewed fury, you processed each doubt, each painful memory, the moments when you hesitated, the chances lost, but those moments, too, became fuel. You seized the warmth of your light, channeling it into an outward explosion of brilliance. The shadows recoiled, shrieking, their forms twisting in agony as your radiance scorched their edges. You surged forward. "I choose to break free." With each claim, more shadows disintegrated, scattering like dust in a gust of wind. But then, something unexpected happened. A figure emerged from the gloom, a shimmering reflection of you. It wore your face but twisted in a snarl, the manifestations of self-doubt standing solidly before you. "This is who you are," it spat. "Weak. Insecure. Always holding back." Your stomach clenched, the specter echoed your worst fears and tattooed them deep into your mind. "No!" you protested, the fire inside rising to a near boiling point. "You are not me." You lunged at the figure, defiance pouring from your soul. The moment felt both liberating and terrifying. One misstep could drop you back into the abyss. The figure lunged back, its movements fluid and mocking. "You really think you can defeat me?" It shrieked with laughter, a sound that rang hollow, but still shook your confidence. Yes. You yelled, every part of you vibrating with resolve. You are a part of me, but you don't get to decide who I am. A blinding flash erupted from your core, and for a heartbeat, everything hung in silence as light blazed forth, washing over you like a cleansing tide, but the room began to fracture under the pressure, cracks rippling outward from where you stood, jarring and wild. The darkness roared, a beast cornered, furious and thrashing against a world it could not tame. The figure began to dissolve, desperation etched in its features, but an unnatural echo surged forth, you can't escape your true self. The ground rolled beneath you, and as you fell to your knees in shock, the shadows regrouped, swirling faster, eager to drag you back into their embrace. You could feel the weight of despair pressing against your chest, dragging you, chaining you to the very essence of your fear. Just then, a new voice cut through the tumult. It was soft yet commanding, resonating within you. Remember your strength. With those words, a surge of warmth spread through your veins. The turmoil receded slightly, granting you clarity. The collisions of chaos and clarity met in that moment, a chilling resolve raising the hairs on your arms. Everything settled into focus. You could see the path laid out before you, every choice, every moment leading to this. But further down that path, a shadow loomed larger, obscured and surging toward you. What lies ahead? You whispered, your heart racing again. The light flickered precariously, yet you felt the pull of the unknown tugging at your very core. The shadows were receding, but their promise lingered, a terrifying allure that threatened your every step. Would you dare to venture forth? Or would the darkness draw you back once more, whispering the secrets that clawed at your very identity? The next moment would decide your fate. The darkness surged forward, a towering wave threatening to drown your every hope. You pushed back with every ounce of willpower, the warmth coursing through you, igniting a fire against the chill that sought to consume you. No. You shouted, your voice stronger than the rumble of despair. I will not be defined by fear. As you took a step closer to the looming shadow, the light readied itself, pulsating in rhythm with your heartbeat. You began to notice details, peaks and valleys within the darkness, subtle hints of shapes, memories lost to time. Each shadow twisted into images of your past, fragments of failures and regrets swirling together, forming a tempest that roared around you, but the light within you flickered, drawing your eyes back to its source. You raised your hands, palms open, urging the radiance to expand. It filled the space, brightening your surroundings and illuminating pockets of the darkness. Faces emerged, those you loved, those you lost. Each image tethered you to a thought, a feeling of love that pierced the haze of despair. I am more than my failures. The shadows hesitated, wavering as if they sensed the strength spreading through you. Yet, the deeper you went into the light, the louder the whispers became. Remember when you failed? They hissed, remember when you let them down? The echoes of doubt hissed around you like a malevolent wind, stinging your mind with vulnerability and questioning, and the light flickered dangerously again. Trembling, you pressed on. Those moments are not who I am. The shadows recoiled slightly as you made this declaration, drawing strength from the escalating roar of your heart. You began to draw upon the warm memories, the laughter, the victories, the simple gratitude of love shared. They became a chorus, a symphony creating a barrier against the darkness. Then, with an echoing crack, the ground trembled beneath you once more, a fierce reminder of the battle waging inside. Suddenly, from the depths of the shadowy abyss, a figure burst forth, a monstrous silhouette, a blend of all your insecurities, thrumming with an energy that felt almost sentient. You think that will work? It bellowed, its voice like thunder, vibrating through your bones. You are no match for the darkness. With a deep breath, you centered yourself, recalling every hard-won lesson. The monster lunged towards you, its massive claws closing in, pounding your heart. You felt the air thicken, the darkness trying to suffocate your will. Stay focused. Remember your strength. That soft, commanding voice screamed within you again, and just as the claws neared, you did something unexpected. You lowered your head, not in fear, but in acceptance of your own truth. You gathered the collective warmth of every bright moment in your life and hurled it forward. I accept you, you declared, voice unwavering. You are a part of my journey, but you will not dictate my path. The resulting explosion of light erupted like a sun, blinding and pure, filling every crevice and shadow, obliterating the figure before you. The darkness shrieked, the sound shrill and fractured, reverberating through the void. In that moment, the shadows began to crumble, defeated by the very essence of who you are, but the ground lurched again, the reverberation somehow more violent as fissures crackled beneath you. In the chaos, you glimpsed the shadow, the true heart of your fears slipping away, retreating into the further reaches of your mind. Was it defeated or merely hiding, waiting for the right moment to strike? Instinctively, you reached out, trying to grasp it before it vanished. Come back. I'm not done with you. But as you lunged, the light dimmed and all at once you felt the shadows reclaiming their strength. This time, they surged not merely as fears but as temptations that tugged mercilessly at your soul. What remains? You panted, the weight of uncertainty crashing around you again. Reeling from the struggle, you stood at the precipice, the fears clawing at your heels while the light began to flicker, faltering as the shadows reasserted their hold. Awash in chaos, you couldn't shake the feeling. A chilling whisper slithered through your mind, you think this is over? Your heart thundered loudly as the room darkened once more, and the path ahead twisted into irretrievable confusion. What price would you pay for clarity? What truths would you uncover beneath the weight of shadows? You braced yourself, for either dawn or despair loomed in the paths yet unwritten. As the darkness surged once more, it twisted and writhed like a living thing. Shadows clawed along the edges of your consciousness, cold tendrils grazing your sanity, pulling at the very essence of who you were. You clenched your fists, refusing to buckle under the weight of despair pressing down on your chest. Your breath came fast, each inhale a desperate attempt to reclaim the glow that had lit your way just moments ago. Stand firm. You shouted, each word a hammer against the rising tide of shadows. Despite the chilling laughter echoing around you, you recalled the faces you had seen, the warmth and resilience pooled within their memory, its brightness begging to break through the darkness. Suddenly, the shadows coalesced into a grotesque form, writhing and changing shape. A figure formed, its face a terrifying collage of your anxieties. Foolish optimism won't save you. It boomed. You think you can escape the truth? You're painted in your failures. Your heart raced, pounding like a drum, drowning out the beast's jeers. I am not defined by this. You cried defiantly, as a spark of determination ignited within you. With a sudden rush, you focused on that light deep in your core, a warm, pulsing beacon that had survived darkness before. You knew it wasn't just a glimmer of hope, it was your power, ready to be unleashed. You raised your hands, feeling the energy swell and coil around your fingertips. A surge of memories flooded through you, the laughter of friends, the moments of joy that illuminated the blackest days. Enough. The monster lunged at you, its claws inches away from your face, but you stood your ground, channeling every shimmering moment into a wave of resolute brilliance. You are the shadow of who I once was, not the reality of who I can become. In one explosive movement, you thrust your hands forward, sending out a torrent of light. It was a burst that radiated with love and strength, a relentless force shattering the very fabric of the darkness. The monster shrieked, its form fracturing and collapsing under the intensity of the light. You could feel victory at your fingertips, an intoxicating rush surging through you, but then came the deafening silence. With the darkness dissipating around you, you felt a rush of confusion thrumming. Where had the beast gone? Had you truly defeated it, or simply pushed it back into the recesses of your mind? Your heart twisted uneasily as a creeping dread settled in the pit of your stomach. A strange calm flooded the air, making you uneasy. Do you really believe this is your only battle? Another voice called, smooth and slithering, filled with venomous charm. You can't ignore what's still inside you, your guilt, your passion turned sour, they'll always come back. Shivers ran up your spine. You spun around, searching for the source, but only shadows curled around you, whispering and laughing, inviting you to join their cadre of despair. You could feel it, an undeniable pulse, a dark rhythm that echoed the fears now wary of your newfound strength. Face me again, if you dare. It beckoned, a mockery of courage. You felt torn, as if the last vestiges of light were already dimming, inviting the shadows to weave tighter around you, wrapping like a familiar shroud. No. You yelled, but the resolve in your voice wavered. You were standing on a knife's edge, uncertainty clawing at you. What if the darkness was not just external? What if it was woven into your very nature, insidious and deceitful? Could you ever truly banish it? The shadows cackled louder, swirling around you as if responding to your deepest doubts. Just then, the flickering light drew further back, retreating into uncertainties you thought you had conquered. As your heart raced and the shadows pressed in closer, you felt a weight on your chest, an understanding that the battle was far from finished, but it wasn't just darkness you sensed now. In the periphery of that dread, a possibility glimmered, a chance to confront your truth head-on. Would you take the leap, or would fear tether you to the familiar? With trembling resolve, you steeled yourself, preparing for what lay ahead. You were about to find out if the light could withstand this new onslaught, what horrifying truth awaited in the depths of your mind. And would you dare to unlock the dark potential that it held? You took a deep breath, standing at the precipice of your fears, the darkness swirling around you like an angry storm. It felt tangible, pressing down on you, as if daring you to ignore its taunts. Your heart thudded wildly in your chest, an echo of dread mixed with a flickering flame of determination. You had battled shadow and light before, but this time felt different. This time, you were faced with the disquieting thought that perhaps this darkness came from within. The shadows flickered eagerly, their edges razor-sharp. You think you've won? The voice hissed again, its tone laced with derision. You're merely getting started. The truth lies buried beneath your bravado. Not today, you growled, gathering the remnants of your courage. The light from before stirred within you, a fire pushing against the cold that threatened to extinguish it. You'd faced this before, but the echoes of past failures bubbled to the surface, every regret, every misstep. They taunted you, forming images within the dark. Do they frighten you? The voice teased, its laughter growing maniacal. Your mistakes are where you truly belong. Why fight against what you are? The blend of shadows shifted, like dark water swirling in a vortex. Your resolve faltered for a brief moment, and doubt gnawed at your insides. The memories of your failures bore down like heavy stones, every one of them whispers in the dark, lazy, unworthy, too afraid. They delved deep into your psyche, like roots wrapping around your heart, squeezing harder as if trying to suffocate the light, but deep in your chest, the pulse of warmth remained, flickering like a stubborn flame. It was a reminder of the joy, of the laughter you had once shared. They were moments too strong to be drowned out by shadows. I'm not afraid of my past. You shouted, clutching your fists tighter. Those moments are lessons, not shackles. The shadows recoiled slightly as if your words had struck a chord. You felt that flicker strengthen into something more, realization and defiance mingling into one. Is that all you have? You taunted back, eyes narrowing as you glared into the swirling abyss of darkness before you. If you're my past, you don't define me. I'm the driver of my own destiny. With renewed vigor, you drew on the light again, manifesting it around you like a shield. The memories that surfaced now became weapons instead of weight. You breathed deeply, summoning the strength of every triumph you had gathered along the way, each challenge faced, every moment defied. That warmth turned electric, vibrating through you, demanding to be released. The cacophony of shadows roared as you unleashed a wave of brightness that mingled and danced within the dark. For the first time, you felt the shadows start to quiver, their grip loosening. I am not your prisoner. You yelled, thrusting your hands forward in a brilliant surge of light, but just when you believed it would consume them, the shadows drew closer, shifting into forms unfamiliar yet eerily resonant, faces from your past, people tied to old mistakes, glaring accusingly at you. They paused, their stares hunting, seeking the weaknesses hidden in your heart. Ah, but these ghosts will never leave you, the voice crooned, now sultry and inviting. Join them. Embrace them. It is far easier than fighting. No. You screamed as you surged forward, pushing against fear as tears prickled at the corners of your eyes. You felt like you were being torn in two. Freedom whispered sweetly, but the shadows tugged viciously at your feet, threatening to pull you back into their cold embrace. What would it take to confront the very darkness that haunted your soul? The question hung heavy in the air, ripe with implications that chilled your spine. The flicker of light remained, but it felt an awfully small flame against the clamor of haunting whispers. As the battle raged, and you stood divided, you couldn't help but wonder, was the true fight against darkness truly a fight for your heart? And if you turned your gaze inward, what terrifying discoveries would await? The shadows pulsated, their forms twisting and weaving like smoke caught in a storm. You could feel the weight of their accusations piercing through your light, creeping into the gaps where hope dared to dwell. Each face was familiar, echoing laughter turned sour, smiles twisted into sneers. They chanted your failures, filling the air with reminders of moments of weakness you had thought you buried long ago. Look at them, the sultry voice echoed, now a seductive whisper wrapping around you like a dark embrace. Why fight when you can sink back into oblivion? They are your truth, your reality. As those ghostly figures reached out with fingers like claws, you could almost feel their cold breath on your skin. A shiver raced down your spine. No. The word tore from your throat, raw and fierce. I will not be defined by you. You spread your arms wide, channeling the flicker of warmth inside you. It surged, demanding to be felt and seen. You're just echoes. Not my reality. With that declaration, a shockwave of light erupted from within, the vivid brightness clashing against the darkness like thunder igniting a storm. But as the shadows screamed, the light coiled itself around you, defending against the encroaching dread. You're powerful, but are you strong enough? The voice challenged, each word laced with venom. Do you truly believe this moment is all that exists? Your heart raced. Doubt was a slippery slope, and you felt the ground shifting beneath your feet. The more you fought, the more the darkness seemed to swell, like a tide rising to swallow you whole. There's a price for freedom, the voice hissed, seductive and pleading. What are you willing to sacrifice to chase away the darkness? An image flashed before you, a choice you had made once upon a time, one that had haunted you. The laughter of friends turning to sorrow as you walked away from their love, trading connection for solitude. The shadows were right, you had traded pieces of yourself in exchange for a facade of strength. The weight of that choice pressed down heavier than before. Freedom isn't free. The echoing voices shrieked, and you felt the pull of despair creeping in. You could almost hear the inaudible chorus of just give in, a siren call coaxing you back to a place where pain didn't exist, a place where numbness reigned, but no. You had fought too hard to allow shadows to win again. You had tasted the sweetness of genuine connection and warmth, and you would reclaim it. Not just from ghosts but in every part of your life. You steeled your resolve, clenching your fists tightly until your nails bit into your palms. I won't give in. I'll face you all. You felt energy crackle around you, a force of will merging with the light, radiating outward. Every fiber of your being surged with renewed clarity. You were more than your past, more than any mistake. You were the architect of your own path, light breaking through the darkness. In response, the shadows shrieked, a tempest rising as they coalesced into one colossal form. You could see the glint of your past's shame twisted into a monster towering, feral, but still trembling at the edges of that pure light. You stepped forward, heart hammering, shoulders squared, ready to confront this mutated reflection of your fears. Would embracing your past liberate you, or feed the darkness lurking inside? As the giant figure loomed closer, the question hung heavy in the air once more. The battle yawned wider before you, dark and twisting, each heartbeat carving a rhythm of potential dread and maybe clarity. Would you face the truth hiding within? The giant shadow loomed over you, a twisted mass of every guilty memory and unshed tear. You could feel its breath, stale and musty, like a crypt left unopened. The light you conjured flickered dimly against the oppressive weight of your fears, each word of defiance seeming to pull you deeper into the abyss. Are you ready to pay the price? The sultry voice lingered like smoke, curling and entwining around you. What will it take to break you? Your pulse quickened. The towering beast radiated negative energy, and every heartbeat echoed your inner turmoil, urging you to submit, to surrender. Doubt seeped through the cracks of your resolve, filling you with a chilling terror. What if this was your destiny? What if every ounce of hope you had was just a mirage, crafted to lead you back to despair, but beneath the doubt, a fire ignited? This isn't me. You shouted, your voice cracking through the suffocating silence. I've moved past this. As the shadows writhed in response, their movements became frantic and chaotic, like a storm struggling against the light. You remembered the faces of your friends, the laughter you had chased away in vain. They had not rejected you, you had turned away from them. With that realization, coal-black tendrils of regret clawed at your heart, but now you steeled your spine. Your shadows don't control me anymore. With a surge unlike anything before, you directed that warmth outward, pouring your heart into the light. The brilliant glow expanded, breaking through the monstrous figure. It roared, an unholy sound that sent vibrations through the air, like glass shattering into a million jagged pieces. But just as hope began to swell, the howls morphed into laughter, echoing off the dark walls of your past. You think you can defeat me with light? The voice dripped with sarcasm, as the monster began to break apart and reform, each fragment twisted still. Have you forgotten? I was born from you. You can't run from yourself. No. This wasn't you. You'd faced the darkness and emerged alive, you'd dealt with heartbreak and forged connections anew. You took a deep breath, grounding yourself in the now. The moment had come to gather all your strength. I will let you go. You screamed, pushing your intentions outwards. You will not define me. In that moment, the shadows paused, an uncertainty flickering in their feral gaze. Was it confusion? Fear? Your heart thundered within your chest, questions coursed through your mind. What if this was merely a temporary victory? What if the shadows found a way back, but the monster hesitated, wavering as your light expanded? Another image surfaced this time, not of isolation, but connections being forged, laughter shared, warmth embraced. With every memory, the brightness intensified, piercing through each dark fold that had once controlled you, yet the gaping maw of the shadow still loomed, and it rallied itself, pieces snapping back together faster than you could repel them. The very essence of your fears seemed to twist in readiness for a counterattack. Do you truly believe that light alone can save you? It snarled, a smirk curling at its edges. Or will the darkness remind you of the chaos within? You hesitated, the enormity of what you faced settling around you like a tangible weight. Could you conquer not just the shadows outside, but the turmoil within? Would the light sustain you, or would carrying so many pieces of yourself become overwhelming? The shadow lunged forward, dark tendrils reaching out, and as the world flashed to black, a final question echoed in the void. Was the battle truly with the shadows, or with yourself? A hush fell over the chaotic room, as if time suspended itself in a final breath. The colossal figure of darkness loomed but was no longer as menacing. With heavy breath, you took a step forward, feeling the pulsing warmth of your light, stirring deep inside you. It was like reclaiming a part of yourself that had been lost in the fervor of the fight, a part yearning for recognition. Enough. You declared, voice shaking but resolute, and yet the echoes of doubt whispered around you. You are not who I am. The shadows flickered, caught off guard by the strength in your declaration, and for the first time, an inkling of fear tangled in their form. This was the moment, the crux where light met darkness, and you felt empowered in your defiance. You closed your eyes, centering your thoughts, drawing from every joyful memory the laughter shared, the warmth of friends, joyous moments that had slipped beneath the shadows before. Each recollection spun a thread of brightness that pulsed a rhythm through your veins. With renewed clarity, you thrust your hands forward. You are a shadow of what I've conquered. You do not define my journey anymore. Light erupted from your core, a radiant force that surged through the air like a summer storm, shattering the tempest of darkness. The room exploded with brilliance. Yet even in that illumination, the monstrous figure fought back, its twisted form reassembling, feeding off your uncertainty and past failures. Futility is your truth. It roared, its voice splitting the air like thunder, reverberating against the walls of your mind. No. You shouted, summoning every ounce of strength from within. I am more than that. I've learned. I've grown. At that claim, the air crackled, and for each self-defeating thought you confronted, the shadows shrank, shuddering under the weight of resolve. A shifting began, and the monstrous figure hesitated, as if it were assessing the worth of its hold over you. You think with light you can extinguish darkness? You cannot eliminate me, it jeered, yet there was a tremor of disquiet layered beneath the mockery. No, I don't want to eliminate you. You challenged, taking another step forward, the shadows swirling around you like frenzied bees. I want to understand you. In that pivotal choice, power surged through the room. The darkness seemed to recoil, a puff of smoke unraveling under the might of realization. You summoned courage and released the warmth, an offering rather than a confrontation. You are a lesson, not a punishment, you called out. Then, something miraculous happened. The monstrous figure lurched slightly, a flicker of understanding crossing its terrifying features. A lesson? It whispered, almost in incredulity. Yes. You affirmed, your heart racing but fervent. Every failure, every regret shaped me, but they do not control me. You remind me of who I can become. A light burst forth, not as a weapon but as connection, a brilliant flood of acceptance that pushed against the darkness. Under the weight of your acceptance, the shadows began to reverse, shrinking back, the immense form crumbled and fell away, peeling back layers of suffocation to reveal a series of raw, vulnerable memories, moments of pain, mistakes, lessons learned. They floated like leaves caught in the wind, many twisting away while others lingered, shimmering in soft light. I am free. You cried, feeling a rush of air fill your lungs, a breath of life after the oppressive weight had pressed upon you for too long. Exhilaration coursed through your veins as pieces of shadow dissolved, their hold significantly weakened, lost in the brilliance of your accepting light. Amidst the fading shadows, a gentle presence resonated. Is this truly how you see me? It asked, a whisper now soft, almost fragile. Yes. You breathed, solid in your newfound understanding. You are part of my journey, not my destination. Together, we can grow without fear. And just like that, with acceptance, the remnants of darkness shimmered and faded into a kaleidoscope of colors, glowing softly rather than consuming. The figure transformed, no longer monstrous, but rather a shadowy silhouette, an echo, a part of you that had once only brought sorrow but could now lead to growth, because in facing the darkness, you had illuminated a path toward hope. With a sigh that echoed in the silence, you took a step back, glancing at the path ahead. Each shadow that had once loomed over you had been transformed into an intricate tapestry of light and shadow, lessons woven together to tell the story of resilience. Now, fully embracing the reality before you, the journey had not ended. Indeed, it was just beginning, and as the last echoes of darkness dissolved, a new dawn emerged with endless possibilities stretching out before you. That's where your story truly flourishes, finding the courage to move forward and shining your light abundantly into the world. So remember, every shadow in your life is not the end of the road, but simply the foundation of a new beginning. In closing, don't let this moment slip away. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that can ignite your inner light. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm, allowing our community to grow strong. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this monumental ending. What did you think? We want to hear it all, and you must share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who are on their own journeys and need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to show your support. Your voice matters.